Mike, a 1-0 loss on the road. How do you take that performance?
I don't think we were anywhere near it in the first half. It's really disappointing. I thought possibly picked the wrong team first half because I thought over from Friday we did quite well. I didn't want to change it around too much, and then within the first 10 minutes, I just thought, Anksy was struggling a little bit, Josh was struggling. They have got a couple of knocks, but they weren't, not allowing them to play. But we just missed that energy. But we got to the, half time 0-0, but it's another one of those scrappy goals. We just concede them just too much, and it's frustrating. I think that's the word of the season so far, is frustrating and disappointing, because we're just not getting those sort of goals for ourselves, and then we're conceding them as well. So I didn't think it was a great performance though overall today.
Yeah, you mentioned about Joe and Josh looking a bit tired. You brought on Josh Barlow and Brandon Liggett. Good to see Brandon back after his injury. How do you think both of those two got on?
Yeah, I thought they did well. Brandon needs to keep it a little bit better, keep the ball. But he got some important tackles in. I thought he'd done quite well. Got to remember with Brandon as well, he's only a bubby, he's only 18. So it's good to give him a bit of time. But I was really impressed with Josh coming on. He looked quite accomplished in there. Had a bit of help from Doz, positional wise, because they were doing direct football, which is quite effective, and we've got to be able to combat that. And we did that for quite a few minutes without having loads and loads of chances against us, and probably didn't create enough chances for us today as well.
Yeah, Theo Robinson came off the bench. Was there a reason behind him being on the bench? Was it just fitness?
No, he's had an injection with his Achilles this week, so we were always thinking that he'll play Friday and then not probably have anything to do on Monday to keep him fresh for next week. But we just thought we might just chuck him on for that last 15-20 minutes, just see if he could make us a bit of a difference. I thought we played a little bit better second half, knocked it about around a little bit more. He came on, he was a little bit more effective as well. But when you're playing against those centre halves, it's tough. If we're going to say to Teddy, you've got to run with the ball and take people on and have a shot, that he didn't do that today. If we look at Brandon, we're asking Brandon to do exactly the same against those big lads. They don't want people running at them. If you're going to run at them, you've got to get shots off, or you've got to get a cross off. So probably Pinch was sore from Friday as well. So we didn't get the best out of Pinch today as well. But they to be fair to them, they ran around and they tried. But I just thought it was one of those games for us today where it was like a little bit of huffing and puffing, and not really, wasn't convinced that we were, going to score. I don't think that was the frustrating thing for me. If we're going to entertain people and get up there, and if the worst happens, you go down, we've got to make sure that we're on it from the first minute of the game, and that we're exciting to watch. And there's a few of these players that are good enough for that, I think. We went down and watched Tiverton on Saturday, and pitch, stadium, fans, and everything like that. It's going to be tough. If you're in that league, every week's going to be a tough game. So we've got to make sure we get a couple of players that can also roll their sleeves up and fight for everything if that actually does happen. A bit frustrated and disappointed with today, really.
Yeah, and how have Jake and Jarrod been handling with each other? Because obviously, again, they swapped who was in goal today.
Yeah, we've got to be careful, because there's a financial penalty with Jake that if he doesn't play enough games, then we've got a big financial penalty. I thought he didn't do great in the first two games, but I thought since then he's done really well. So we're looking to get the games knocked off for him and give him a bit of experience. I think he's done relatively well, if I'm honest. And then we're looking at Jarrod for next season to be our number one goalkeeper. So I'm trying to keep him happy as well and give some games. There's since they're both playing well at the moment, there hasn't really been much difference who goes in goal. I don't think, but that's the main honest reason, really.
Yeah, and one of the main positives today was the performance of Harlane and Bayo. He's obviously played quite a few games in a row now. And again, how impressed were you with Harlane?
Yeah, I mean, when we've lost Ben and we've lost Rami as well, it's difficult to get somebody in, and you're looking around the place, and Julian Hillman's his agent, and he phoned me up. He said, "Look, if I was you, I think I'd go in for him because he's a decent player." and he's proved that he can handle this sort of level. I think again, this is probably his third or fourth game on the trot, and in him himself, he's had a little bit of a niggle of an injury, and he's got out there and he's played on. I thought him and Ty played really well today actually, and you know, for them, you know, boshing it all the time, being quite direct, I thought the back four handled it quite well for most of the game. So to get the scrappy goal against us just does your head in.
Yeah, and just finally, with how things are at the moment and the result today, what have you said to the lads in there just at the end?
I just told him about going down to Tiverton on Saturday, you know, and watching a few players and keeping an eye on Joey P and people like that. And you think, you know, that's where we're going to be next year, unless a miracle happens. So it's a realisation of that. I think people have got to take responsibility. That's me included, and you know, I'm definitely prepared to do that. And if I've come in and I've been asked to stop the club going down, which I haven't managed to do at the moment, because all the signs are looking towards that, and that is, you know, that's a failure on my behalf. But other people have to shoulder that as well for their mistakes and what they're doing, and I'm sure they're aware of it. And you know, it's not a great feeling for me because I love the club, and you know, some of those supporters again that we've had today making a long old trip for us. That's the reason why I'm doing it at the moment, because they're fantastic people. You know, we went out Saturday night and Friday night and spoke to a few of the supporters in the Sword pub, which was it was a good night, and it was, you know, it was good to get a few things off of supporters' chests, I think, with what they thought was good and bad and indifferent with the season. So you know, I'm big enough and brave enough to take that on the chin, and I got to say they were all really good as gold, and they only want the best for the club like I do as well. So you know, we're not quite down yet, and we'll keep fighting, and we'll keep hopefully doing everything that we can to stay up, but obviously it doesn't look good. So you know, we've got to be preparing already really for the worst if that does happen, and we just got to make sure that we have give a few more minutes to Owen Brain, I think, give a few more minutes to Jamie Creed, and just see, you know, at this level if they can do it, and if they can definitely do it at that league below. So that's where we are at the moment.